All right, so it's fun to be here. I've heard of Tappan, never heard of old Tappan, but you never know. Every day you learn something. And I must say that it's really fun to be here. I mean, it's such a beautiful community, very special people. I know some people, and most of you are absolutely new to me, so it's good. It happens sometimes too. Where is Rafi? Oh, Rafi is here. I'm being honored next week somewhere. Can I have a copy of your speech? I think it was good. I can use it. All right, let me start with a song which titled in Hebrew Tefillah, a prayer, which asks Hashem to guard us all as if we were kids. Like Yossi was singing before. Yeah, Yossi did a very good job. הוא היושב לו אי שם במרומים, הוא הרופא כל חולים, הוא הנותן רוב שמחה לילדים, הוא העושה משפטים, הוא בשמיים והוא היחיד, הוא הגדול הנורא, הוא השומר עלינו מצרה. אין לו כך שמור עלינו כמו ילדים, שמור עלינו תן לנו אור ושמחת נעורים, תן לנו כוח עוד ועוד, שמור עלינו כמו ילדים, שמור ואל תחזור. תן לנו אור ושמחת נעורים, תן לנו גם לאור. מה כבר נותר לנו עוד בימים, מה כבר נותר כל היום, שמש תקווה המון מבטים, בלילה ביום של חלום. הוא השמיים והוא היחיד, הוא הגדול הנורא, הוא השומר עלינו מצרה. אלוקה שמור עלינו כמו ילדים, שמור אל תחזור. תן לנו אור ושמחת נעורים, תן לנו כוח עוד ועוד, שמור עלינו כמו ילדים, שמור ואל תחזור. תן לנו אור ושמחת נעורים, תן לנו גם לאור. Your time now. Put your hands together. Come on, let's clap, everybody. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Clap, clap, 1, 2, 3. Clap, everybody. Keep going. Loud. Clap. Hey. שמור עלינו כמו ילדים, שמור ואל תחזור. תן לנו אור ושמחת נעורים, תן לנו כוח עוד ועוד, שמור עלינו כמו ילדים, שמור ואל תחזור. תן לנו אור ושמחת נעורים, תן לנו גם לאור. As you see, I was born not long ago, and that happened somewhere in Israel, in a town which you know as Tel Aviv. It was really beautiful there. Both of my parents were born in Yemen. That's what makes me Yemenite. And my father, Alav Shalom, came to the promised land when he was a 3-year-old boy, and that was back in 1912. So at one point he found a piece of land, he stood there and he was singing, I build a big tall house with a room by the dozen, right in the middle, which he did. He built a house and a family. He got married and the family kept growing and growing and growing, and here I was born as number 10 to my parents. As well, I'm the youngest. It became very congested in this house where we lived. We had to move. We moved to an apartment. What shall I tell you? It was a very special apartment. It was a high-rise of Tel Aviv at the time. 4-story high, no elevator, square staircase with 2 apartments on each floor. You know that? Yeah? You could speak from the first floor to the 4th floor. Gala, Rabinovich, maybe you have some bread, some juice, some flour, all kinds of groceries went between the apartments. I never knew who went to the supermarket. Anyway, I was very young those days, and I earned a name to myself. Since I was the only Yemenite and all the rest of the neighbor, they were Ashkenazi, yeah, and they all spoke Yiddish, which I didn't. And they called me all kinds of names in Yiddish. One of them I remember well was Tachshit. You know what Tachshit means? Tachshit, if you translate it to Jewel, that's not what they meant. What they meant was the troublemaker, because I was one. And for instance, I used to take a heavy rope, tie this door handle to this door handle, and ring the bells in most apartments. My father got so many complaints about me, and he said, this is it, this Tachshit is getting out of here. My high school days, and I found myself all the way south in the Negev of Israel, in Sde-Boker. Midreshet Sde-Boker, yeah. Ben Gurion, that's right. So anyway, those days I realized I'm not going to be a doctor or a lawyer like my mother wanted me to. I want to be an entertainer, a musician. I could not afford a piano or guitar, anything like this. I found myself a very small musical instrument, which in Hebrew we call it halil. And you have to say halil, you have to read something harif lifnei. So this is a type of a flute. Let me take you with me to the Negev, to the desert like of Israel, and you try to picture me with a recorder in my hand and a flock of sheep behind. Yeah, that's the one. Anybody can name these two? Yes, go ahead. What?
Peter and the Wolf.
Peter and the Wolf. Wow, very common answer, but wrong. Sorry. Anybody else? One more time. Yes. Nutcracker is correct. It is a big sweet though. Which part from the nutcracker? That's the winner. And wow, very common answer too, but wrong. All right, never mind. Anybody? Okay, listen. What I need from you is the Jewish response. You know what the Jewish response is? Oh, like this, all right? So that was from the Nutcracker, and it's called the Chinese dance. All right, let me take you around the world with this recorder, a medley of songs from different places. Woo! Volume here. Here we go. Adjustment, and we do it again. Belgian, schnorrel. So I saw some guys who developed a new system. They don't walk the street anymore. They're sitting on a chair as well, and they put a hat in front of them. So let people pass by, drop the money into the hat. Great idea until I saw another guy was sitting on a chair as well, but he had two hats. So I ran to him and I said, I understand, hat, seat, why do you have two hats? He said, well, listen, kid, since business was so good, I opened another branch. That's what I did myself. I got another recorder. I want to play both of them at the same time. Those of you with musical ears, listen carefully and play the melody on one hand, the harmony on the other. What a genius, huh? You know the song? Okay, let me play something more ethnic. It's not going to show which song I played on the camera, you know. All right, so here's something more ethnic for this instrument, which you're going to like. Here we go. There is a lot of things going on, and what I wanted to do for you now is something that I'm doing all over. Wherever I do concerts, somehow I manage and I get into this part which I take with me the people and take them to a Broadway theater and do a medley of songs from one of the most favorable Jewish show ever on Broadway, and I'm talking about one correct answer for everybody. So, you know, and I do it because somehow the tradition and Chabad is going together, you know? And I must tell you something that I do, like, I don't know to tell you, almost 100% of my concerts are for Chabad, really. I travel all around. I was just in Chabad of Charlotte, North Carolina, right? You know, somehow these rabbis, they have their own community, their own work, and they know every rabbi in every Chabad house. Somehow they know all the names. What I want to tell you about Chabad, which is a great business, I tell you what kind of business. It's a business of people, just like you. And Chabad organization invented the internet before the internet existed. I mean, I was traveling like 20, 30 years ago, when I was 15 years old, you know. I was traveling to Australia, South America, I mean, you name places like, you would not think that there is anybody there, any Jew live over there. There is a Chabad house there. And if anybody will be invited later to look for a place, for example, in Argentina, a place called Concordia. Ever heard of such a place? If you're not from there, you will never know about it. Even people in Argentina don't know. There is a little town in Concordia, and there is a Chabad house there, and I went to do a show there also. There was only 3 guys there, Jewish, the Chabad guys. But I did the show for 2,000 people, believe it or not. And that's another story for another time. We will see how it goes. So right now I'm going to take you to Broadway as I promised, and here is a medley of songs from Fiddler on the Roof. Just before, remember the part where Tevye meets with the butcher. One is talking about a bride, the other is talking about a cow. Somehow they found themselves into the Russian bar, and over there they're drinking and talking and somehow dancing like on the Broadway show, the professional dancer dressed like the Hasidic kapota stremel, you know, and bottle of wine, and they do the Kazakhstan dance. Yes, remember that part? I need few volunteers for this part. All right, here is a medley of songs from Fiddler on the Roof. Woo!
Ready? Here we go.
A fiddler on the roof sounds crazy, no? But in our little village of Anatevka, you might say every one of us is a fiddler on the roof, trying to scratch out a pleasant, simple tune without breaking his neck. It isn't easy. You may ask, why do we stay up there if it's so dangerous? We stay because Anatevka is our home. And how do we keep our balance? That I can tell you in one word. Masoret, in Hebrew and in English. Tradition, tradition. Whoa, tradition, tradition. Because of our tradition, we kept our balance for many years. Here in old Tappan, we have tradition for everything. How to eat, how to sleep, even how to wear clothes. For instance, we wear these little prayer shawls. We always keep our head covered. That shows our greatest devotion to Hashem. You may ask, how did this tradition got started? I'll tell you, I don't know, but it's a tradition. Because of our tradition, everyone here knows who he is and what Chabad expect him to do. Here is a beautiful song from the show when the mothers and daughters light the candles for Shabbat. Sabbath prayer. May Hashem protect and defend you. May He always shield you from shame. May you come to be in Israel a shining name. May you be like Ruth and like Esther. May you be deserving of praise. Strengthen them, Hashem, and keep them from strangers' ways. May Hashem bless you and grant you long life. May Hashem find you good husband and wife. May Hashem protect and defend you. May He always shield you from pain. Favor them, Hashem, with happiness and peace. Oh, hear our Sabbath prayer. Zava Shas All right, so what I told you before about this place, you know, I decided, okay, let's do it for you. Even though it's a tough number, I'm going to do it. I have to, right? Let's see. So here is the story. I'm landing in this place in Argentina. The deal was with the Chabad rabbis over there that every night I'm somewhere else. And each night at the end of the show, that rabbi handed to me the tickets of the airline for the next place. Like I had no itinerary. I just had to get it from the rabbi the last minute before the show. After the show. So, I need to catch my breath. Woo. So we'll make a l'chaim. We just did the l'chaim song, right? Did l'chaim, everybody. Cheers. Oh. So what shall I tell you? So I'm getting to this last show. They're telling me you're going to Concordia. There is no flight to Concordia. There is only bus, and it's 10 hours. And it was, I tell you, it was a local bus, and it went in a wavy way and dangerous, and forget it. The whole schmeal. Finally, we arrived at the terminal of the bus at 4 p.m. in that town. Half of the town waiting for the bus. It's like a big event when the bus arrived. Like 40 years ago, an El Al flight came from New York to Tel Aviv. That's the way it was. So anyway, from the bus, finally I see the three Chabad guys said, you know, cannot go wrong the way they dress, you know, right away, that's the Chabad guys. And I said, oh Hashem, thank God, now I have some people I can talk to. You know, so I'm getting off the bus and the guy telling me, okay, this is Yoel, this is Menachem, of course, and more. Whatever, so, and then I realized that these three guys are the total Jewish population in this town. I said, what they brought me all the way here for this? They could bring these three guys to another town where I was the night before or something, you know? And then the rabbi saw that I'm kind of troublesome. He said, oh, don't worry, all the requirement, all the technical shit, everything is taken care of. I said, what is he talking about taking care of technical? I can do the show in his living room if it's only 3. Well, to make it short, in the evening I found myself in a big auditorium with 3,000 Spanish-speaking people. The deal was that the rabbi told the mayor of the city, a big singer from Europe is coming, he'll take care of these papers, whatever, technical, schmechnical, and the rabbi brings the singer. And that's it. I found myself in such a big auditorium. In the first row I had the 3 Chabad guys, the mayor of the city, the newspaper, and the 2 television and 1 radio, whatever was there also from another town. This town didn't have a television. So what shall I tell you? And now the show must go on, you know? And I said, what am I going to do here? So I did, of course. I did Fiddler on the Roof, which I changed few words to Spanish, you know, which I asked beforehand. I did the recorded stuff, which is instrumental, no problem. And then I did few Israeli songs that I know that are associated somehow with Spanish music. Like, for example, now let's play for the guitar. Something happened. It will work it. Okay, here we go. So, I don't know if you ever heard this song. Efo, Ahuva. Yeah. Lama. This is original Spanish song. And the way they sing it, the first note I only picked up. It was Esha. And then I did like this, I all kept singing it. So I was doing my Hebrew, they did the Spanish, everything worked fine. And then I'm doing this, pulling it extra time, and then I'm thinking, what next, you know? And then I remember, oh, I used to sing a Spanish song many years ago, and it goes, Espera un poco, un poquito más. I stretch the song also, and then I end it with a little bit of Chazunesh. Me moriría, me moriría, si